Hello and welcome to Super Boothers. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Ismail.
We are the Photo Booth Business Podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
Gracias and de nada.
Whatever. So it is the summer. We are full-fledged into summer. Generally in your area, if you're in the United States, I don't know about the rest of the world, because I can't speak for the bridal industry in Argentina. So sorry. However, from what I do know in the US, there are two big major seasons. There is summer and there is winter. Generally, there are bridal shows in the summer and in the winter, and generally the ones in the winter tend to be the more, I'm not going to say successful of the shows, but most definitely the more like well-attended shows.
Yeah, I was just going to say, actually, the biggest bridal shows around me, like they're massive, are in January. They're in the winter.
Yeah, for sure. And do you know why they're in January?
Because the people who are planning summer weddings do so around that time. And people get engaged after the holidays. Booyah! You thought I was
That is
wrong.
correct. People get engaged during the holidays, so it kind of starts right after Halloween and then ends on Valentine's Day when all the psychos get engaged. And I really do mean that. And if you are listening to this and you got engaged on Valentine's Day, I'm not sorry. You're probably a psycho.
And this is where I awkwardly changed the subject because I will not comment.
No, do you know why they are psycho? Yes, I have gone there because I have garnered a listenership that loves me for me.
This is when you know we've recorded too many episodes in one sitting.
So no, whatever. No, so no. This is the thing is, I really think, and I have said this for every single bride that has been engaged on Valentine's Day. I have been doing this far too long. We did the math. I have done well over 3,000 weddings. This is why I say this is because someone that gets engaged on Valentine's Day thinks that everything is going to be perfect, and it's not. It's going to rain on your wedding day. Something is going to happen. Someone is going to be late. Someone is not going to show up from your family. Something is going to happen.
That's actually the bit of advice I give all of my friends that are getting married is that congratulations, I'm so happy for you. Things will go wrong.
Yes.
Like, prepare yourself mentally. Things will go wrong. Do not let it affect your day.
No.
Right? It might rain. Like you said, someone might not show up. Things will happen. Don't panic. It's normal.
For sure. And
out of those 3,000 weddings that you did,
yeah,
how many of them went perfectly?
Maybe 25%, 20% maybe.
That's more than I thought.
That I would know that. I mean, actually, funny enough, and you know what it has to do with, and this is not what we're talking about today, but this has to do, I believe, with the attitude of the bride. Just the same way as if ever like you're on a film set, or if ever you are a teacher, or if ever you are someone in some sort of leadership position, everyone takes the leader's energy. If the leader's energy is we're going to do this is going to be great, everyone has that attitude. If someone is worried, they're freaking out, they're stressing out, that has a ripple effect and everyone is just on edge. It is the worst possible feeling to have.
That's very true, actually. That's a great point. I totally agree with that.
So I will say that the 20-25% of weddings that I've done that have gone absolutely perfectly has been 100% of the attitude of the couple. You know what? There have been weddings that I've had where it has been a downpour. So many amazing things have come out of that. There's one wedding that I did, complete downpour. They got the best wedding in the rain photo. Back then, when it was a thing, it was called Trash the Dress. I don't know if they still have it. It was a thing for after you got married to go trash your dress and just do a really cool photo shoot with it.
Yeah, I've seen all sorts of things people try to do, jumping into lakes and whatnot. Yeah.
Yes, those brides are the absolute best to work with just because they do not care. So anyways, versus those that get engaged to on a Jumbotron, they're going to have some expectations.
I was actually going to ask you that earlier. What do you think about people proposing in stadiums? Since you were talking about Valentine's Day.
Absolutely not. And every woman that is listening to this will agree with me. You do not get engaged to me on a Jumbotron. You do not get engaged to me at a restaurant in an Olive Garden. You do not do that. Absolutely not.
So why do men do it? Men, why do you do it?
Because they're stupid, selfish idiots. I mean, this is the thing. I'm not going to say this for all people because there. I'm sure that there are some people that would love to get engaged to on a jumbotron. I, however, am not one of them. What if she says no? That's just horrible embarrassment in front of 20,000 people.
I think that's why they do it, right? There's less of a chance of being rejected. They think.
I don't know. Well, she's going to say yes. Then on the car ride home, she's going to be like, okay, listen, this isn't how this is going. So, anyways, so what we're here to talk about today is bridal shows.
Oh, we're being recorded. Oh, okay.
Yes, we're being recorded. Um, so this is the thing. I am not going to pretend to have done a bridal show in a very long time. I used to do them nonstop. I mean, I think I would have done maybe like 6 a year. Now I do one open house that I make an appearance at, and that's about it.
So I'm
Um,
really curious about this actually because I've done bridal shows.
yeah.
I stopped. I'm
Hmm.
curious why, like, you did so many. I assume
Yeah.
they were working for you. That's why you kept doing them. And why you decided to stop or decrease it.
I got older and just didn't have I don't have the patience to talk to a bride anymore. And the thing is, I mean, I'm really good at it. And I know that if I get a bride in front of me, I will book her and give me money, and her mother will love me. I mean, that's just how it goes. I just don't have the energy for it anymore. And that's just not that. I mean, it's always doing bridal shows is always about the quantity. You know what? Everyone needs to do bridal shows at the beginning. It's just how you learn. I mean, it's a great way to learn how to sell. It's a great way to learn to interact with people. It's a great way to set yourself apart from someone else because you get to see what everyone is doing in one spot. I mean, I love doing bridal shows when I was younger, but now that I'm old and bitter, I just don't care anymore. I enjoy it to a degree. I don't think I could do it anymore. What I would do now is I could be conceptual about it. Here's what needs to happen, and then just have my staff go do it. I don't think I could be there personally, just because I'm not of that mindset now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I took the challenge of trying to do them for a while and trying to get better and find out all these tactics and strategies, what you should offer, how do you get people to come to your booth, yada yada. So I experimented with all that, and I mean, I had success with it. I think ultimately, though, I learned a couple of things. One of which I've talked on the show before that I just can't sell as well as a female can to brides. I mean,
Sure,
I just can't. So that was a huge thing I learned, and I learned that from bridal shows. So
sure.
I'm glad I did that. The other thing is that we booked events; it was profitable, but when I looked at everything that went into it, and the fact that I just, like you said, you're just done with it. You don't really feel like doing it. I didn't find it to be enough of a return for me personally to put up with all that, especially once I found other ways of getting clients that required less um, of that kind of mental stress.
Like Google AdWords now available at courses.superboosters.com.
Exactly. So once I found out something like that, I just really, it wasn't worth it to me to go to a bridal show and put up with all that stuff.
So this is the thing is you come from the aspect of this is the thing is photo booth is you either want it or you don't. There's not no, but there's very minimal personalization. It's more of a product, less of a service. Um, for example, a florist, you're going to have to sell the relationship with a florist more so than you're going to have to sell it with a photo booth, because a photo booth is someone's going to look by it and say yes or no. They're not going to look at it, and it's not subjective. You get what you get. So I think that I would come at it from a different point of view. I would, if I were, you know what, I might actually do. I could also be very well making this up. I would contemplate and could possibly be persuaded down the road, maybe this winter, doing a bridal show just for like a case study, like just to see what I would do.
That sounds really awesome. I mean, I think the real value for me of the bridal show is the market intel, right? So if you do weddings, you've got to be at a bridal show. At least, like you said in the beginning, everyone's got to do it. You're there with, like, the one that's by me is thousands of brides and their families.
Well, hold on. Take a step back here. Not only is it thousands of brides and their families, it is also vendors that you could be working with. So this is a chance for you to show off, you know what, if you are brand spanking new, let's say you got a decent product that no one has or you have a different viewpoint on it, that is an amazing opportunity to come in front of hotels and venues and caterers and florists and planners for you to show them, hey, here's what this looks like. Hey, this is what we can do that's different than whatever else you have been using before. That is the opportunity that you need to use it for. I mean, it was great for me for just networking and staying current in the industry. In our industry, there are people that move around left and right. Oh, this person just left, the Marriott. Oh, this is her replacement. It is so nice to meet you. When can I come by?
No, that's definitely a great point. Obviously, it's great for networking with other vendors. Totally true. Like I said, I think it's also valuable getting intel on the market, speaking to even if you don't book them there, you learn a lot by speaking to your target client. So that's invaluable to me. I think you have to do it at least a few times to get a good grip on the market. And I had an experience where I stepped away from my booth. I came back and I had a competitor crawling through, inspecting my gear and my
Love it.
products. And
Love it.
so you do get a lay of the land, and you
You
get
just
to.
tap them on the shoulder and say, "Can I help you?"
That's exactly what I did. I'm like, "Excuse me, can I help you?" And the guy basically ran away. I mean,
Love it.
it was ridiculous. But
Love it.
you do get to meet vendors as well as competitors, and you see what people are offering, and you get to see how you can differentiate yourself.
I think that opportunity is just invaluable.
But would you do it? Would you keep doing it?
Oh, for sure.
So why'd you stop?
Well, because my business model changed. I do more trade shows and larger activations than I do brides. I mean, so my business model changed. If I stayed in one city and my primary source of income was weddings, yeah, I would absolutely do bridal shows all the time.
So you've done a lot more than I have. You said you did like six a year at a point.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
are
yeah.
some tips that top of mind that you have that you give people that are considering trying bridal shows,
Thank
or
you.
they're doing it and they're not seeing much success?
Sure. So I have developed Ryan's 10 ways to a successful bridal show.
Is this a PDF?
It is a PDF. It is now available for purchase. Please go to my no, I'm kidding. I'm just going to talk about it on the podcast because this is just it's literally no brainer stuff. So one thing that I really enjoy doing is going vertical and doing a very tall booth. There was one time actually whenever I was in this was 2003-ish. I decided I saw in a wedding magazine that it was a black and white wedding, but it was mostly black with hints of white and green. And I just thought that was the slickest looking color scheme. I just thought it was hot shit. And what I did was I put this massive pipe and drape pole that went up 15 feet. And I went to Joann Fabrics and got like this foot long, like green, I don't know, it was like an organza, like spandex. I don't know, it was this weird hybrid thing, and I like draped this huge, massive green thing. It was the smartest thing I ever did. Whenever, because it was in a convention center where you had to take the escalators down to go into the convention center. So I loved this because as brides were going down the escalators and whenever they were at the top, they could literally see the lay of the land. The first thing that they could see was, what the hell is that green stuff sticking out of that booth? So it was most definitely an attention getter. If you have the money for it and it is an option for you, I would most likely hang something from the ceiling. A lot of big trade shows really do that. Now, I have to ask you this. I never did giveaways, or I rarely did giveaways. You've done giveaways at your bridal shows before, right?
Ah, my secret weapon.
What was it? Oh, it was the lip smackers, the Dr. Pepper lip smackers.
It was the. This is something that I actually didn't want to share in the very beginning because it worked so well for me.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
it's funny because it was. I did the winter ones, right? So I was thinking, what can I give people that's a low cost and that they would get a lot of utility out of for a long time? And everyone's walking around with chapped lips because it's wintertime, dry lips.
Because you're in
So
New York.
yeah, we're in New York, you know. So the chapstick that we did, we branded it with our company's branding, They were low cost per chapstick, and I got to tell you, it was a huge success. I mean, everybody would come to our booth to get the chapstick. And what really, like, it's very hard to measure the return on investment or something like that. So I'm not going to pretend to say, oh my God, it was so profitable. It's hard to measure that. But people had them and they were using them throughout the bridal show. So much so that people would come by and say, is this where I get the chapstick?
Really,
And to me, yeah, if it worked that well there, these girls kept the chapstick in their purse, and wherever they went, like literally hundreds of times, that chapstick would be pulled out and used.
really.
So getting that branding out there that often for like a dollar 50 per person, I thought was a really good use of marketing money for me.
Really.
Yeah.
So another thing that I would do is I would also collect my own leads. With a photo booth, we have an amazing ability to do that because we have an apparatus that does it for us. Uh, so, for example, what I would consider doing is now that I'm doing photo booths that have this capability, you know what? Come in, take your photo, come in, take your photo, type in your phone number, type in your phone number. I wouldn't even give out prints. Screw you. That's an upgrade. It's available. That's what the printer looks like. What I would do is I would almost remarket to those people by text message.
Now, I'm curious, do you like aggressively push the sale there? Or like how do you sell at a bridal show? I think that's something people really wonder about.
Sure. So what I think you really have to do is kind of this is really the next one is number 4, qualifying people immediately whenever they get to your booth. So I don't want to talk to I would always get a kick out of this. So if the photo booth, if the bridal show were today and someone would to come by my booth, congratulations, you're getting married, where are you getting married, blah 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 blah, oh, I'm so excited, great, fantastic, when is your wedding? She says December 2021. I'm thinking to myself, no, not talking to you because she's too far out. A lot of stuff can change. Our industry has changed within the last 12 months. There's no way that I can guarantee pricing for you in 2021. That's just not going to happen. So I'm obviously going to say, here's a photo booth, take a look, have some fun. I'm not even going to talk to you, just because that's how I would operate. If you want to give me money and hold your date, sure, that's fine. But otherwise, it's just kind of not going to happen. What I will do is for photo booths, it's kind of like you're going to it's a low price point, so it's not like a florist that someone is going to have, they have to have a consultation, we have to talk about color scheme, there's not a lot of preferences. So what I would do is, yeah, I would probably push a hard sale for photo booth, but what I would do is for the day of the show I would ask for a lower deposit. So I would go in there and say all day today is $100 deposits. $100 deposit gets you X, Y, and Z, and it gets you, I don't know, a value upgrade. So you can pick your upgrade. I don't care. What I do is I get people on the hook for that. And if they cancel, then I get the $100. So it works out
Okay.
either way.
So you don't really discount your rate. You really just make it easy to reserve the date
Yeah.
and maybe add things to it as a bonus that don't
Cost you
decrease
anything.
profit. They don't
Yeah.
cost you anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what? Let's say you have a 10 by 20 booth and you have, 3 different, 8-foot backdrops that are available. Maybe they're double sided if you're smart. You go through and you're talking to someone and you'll say, listen, pick your photo booth, whatever you like. If you offer more than one, you know what? It's only $100 deposit today. You're not necessarily getting a discount, but you'll get a value add. So if you book today, you can pick your backdrop. That's free. That's normally $150 extra. Or you'll get a memory book that costs me $14. Or you will get unlimited prints for whatever it is. I would much rather sell the value than I would sell the discount.
Now, do you find that to be effective in a place that's that competitive where all your
For sure,
local
because
vendors are?
yeah, for sure. So you kind of, but this is another thing is I would come at this as I would rather differentiate myself by going in there as a little bit higher end. And I know that people say this all the time and they really don't mean it. And also you have to, this is also coming from my background of, you know what, I do a lot of cheap stuff and I do a lot of volume because I can. And however, if I'm going for a wedding, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to give someone something a little bit nicer because I already have my internet business that gives me all the cheap stuff. I already have that.
Also, when you're lowering your pricing, you have to book like there's more pressure to book more at the bridal show to cover the expense of being there. So it's kind of a more stressful way of going
Sure.
about it.
Sure. You have to think of that as like whenever you go to Vegas, whatever money you go there with, you just have to know is just going down the toilet. Even though it's not, it's just going to take you a little bit of time to get your money back. The benefit about us is that we are, in the grand scheme of things, a lower cost item. We're one of the cheaper things that a bride is going to pay for. So it's almost an impulse purchase. So I need to make that ability for that bride to purchase me as an impulse purchase. So, anyways, so number 5 is to really kind of like uh, set goals for the show. So, for example, if you kind of have 8 hours to talk to as many people as you can, you're going to waste time, Ismail,
Oh,
talking
don't
with
even
someone for
start
like
that.
15
Don't
or
even
20
start that.
minutes.
Do you
I
want
already
you want to
did.
elaborate
I
on
already
that one, or
did.
are we just going to blow by
So this
past
is
that? Okay,
no, we're gonna blow past it. No, so so this is the thing is you can't have one person monopolize the conversation. If we really want to get into numbers, your ROI is going to go a whole lot lower. So the goal is to talk to as many people as you can, get the information from as many people as you can, and then follow up, follow up, follow up,
I actually
follow up,
would agree
follow
with
up.
that. That's probably that's the main bit of advice I'd give people, and that's what I walked into a bridal show with: is capture as many leads as possible that you can follow up with after the event. I found, and I don't know if you agree, Ryan, I found that a lot of people don't really book at the event unless there's a hard sell or big
No,
discount to do so. So the real goal is collecting leads.
sure. And there are a bunch of uh, wedding show producers that will implement things to get the guests to purchase on the spot. I've heard of something called Bridal Bucks, where they will essentially give, I guess, some sort of cash value to a bride for booking with certain specific vendors that advertise with whatever. So there are ways to make sure that you're being booked, and these brides that are coming in are being conditioned to bring money, bring money, bring money. So that is the thing, is to always make sure that someone is covering your booth, and always make sure that they're at least being like personable and friendly and all that other good stuff. I think, and another pet peeve that I have is really not to eat at your booth. I hate that.
I mean, this is
Don't you
very
hate that?
basic stuff. There's not much to add to that. I think, yeah, you're totally right.
Another thing is to really use that time to network. Generally, the beginning of the show might be a little bit slower. And anytime they're going to do fashion shows or contest prizes, like I love the Dig for Diamonds at a couple of bridal shows they've been to. They'll have like all these wedding bakers make these amazing cakes, and they'll hide like little coins in there, and the coins represent prizes. And what these brides have to do is just go like trashing through these cakes looking for these coins so that they can get whatever like prizes are
Speaking of
behind these coins.
speaking of
Just
prizes,
amazing.
a lot of these
So
bridal shows
yes,
encourage and push the vendors to donate things to give away. What do you think? What do you think about? Yeah, I'm not about that too.
yeah, I'm not about that. No, I'm not about that. I don't think that it'll lead to revenue. If anything, for me, it'll lead to problems. The only thing that I would suggest you doing is, if you are a restaurant, is to, hey, give a gift card. I would much rather you do something like that than give a photo booth. That person gets pissed off for whatever reason. You get a bad review, whatever. I don't know. But anyways, so just as we were talking about how we have lead magnets on our websites, I think that it's absolutely possible to have lead magnets in person. So one thing that I would love to do is to have, those
Yes.
little iPad spandex things. PB Backdrops has them. I think they're maybe $200, if that. I would love to have like 3 of those little stations, to be able to have guests come up and build their own template. Like there are things that like there are things that are out there where like, you can just scroll through like a million templates and just have them like pick what
And
they
the
want.
goal of that is just to
Capture them as lead, get their information, and not only
I was
that,
just gonna
you
say,
they're
yeah, that's
investing
genius.
time with you. So just yeah, so just as we were talking about how whenever someone's on our website, I will say this, and this is again available on the new website best practices PDF, is to whenever you go through the form and someone is on your website looking through your like lead inquiry or whatever, I always say go through the pretty stuff first. So pick which photo booth you want. Then pick which layout you like. Then pick where it's at. Then ask for their name and their email at the end. Because if you think of it how you are as a consumer, you go to a website, you see a form, it says name, email, phone number. I'm like, ugh, screw it. I'm not going to go through this. But if you make it in a fun, interactive way, and actually there's the service that I use is called Typeform, Typeform, and it's available in the show notes. You can go through there and give people a question one by one, line by line. That way, once they've answered 20 questions, they're already invested. So it's a lot easier to ask them for their name and their email at the end of it
Yeah, but
versus at the
when you're
beginning.
having
Does that
people
make
go through and
sense?
build their own template, at what point do you request their emails? Is it before they
Mhm.
start doing that, or do you? So they do.
At the end, at the end.
So
Again,
what's the
pretty
incentive for
stuff
them to
first.
fill it?
That's why pretty stuff first. That's why it's hello, welcome to Super Brothers. My name is Ryan. Because I'm the pretty one, get
I
it?
got it. I got it. It just wasn't really that funny, and I think the people listening would agree with me.
Your eyebrows are funny. Continue.
What's the incentive for them to fill their information in at that stand once they already created it? Like, do you have them then take a photo, but before they take their photo, they have to give you their email? What do you do?
No, 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 no. So what they can do is they can like go through like a whole bunch of templates, customize the template that they like. So, hey, change this field to type in your name. Change this field to type in your date. You want a Gatsby theme? Here's one. Input your information into here. Once it's designed, well, now how do you give it to me? Well, you fill out this contact form, name, email, wedding date.
I mean, what I really like about that is that you're getting people invested and engaged. I think that's the big win there. When you work a bridal show that's that big, it's hard to get people to come over to your booth, right? So if you have people there engaged and staying for a while and having fun building something, that's the real big one.
Yeah, I absolutely love the idea of having the customer be more invested with you than someone else. Who else is doing that? No one. Guarantee it. Lastly, I will say follow up, follow up, follow up. So not only are you getting the leads that you collect, which those are a little bit warmer, if not a hot lead. What I would do is whenever you're done with the bridal show, generally within like a week or so, the show producer will email everyone a list of every bride that walked through that door, every bride that registered with him. 9 times out of 10, that's going to include uh, regular mailing addresses. I haven't done this in a while, again, because I haven't done a bridal show in a while. However, what I used to do is I used to send out postcards to them after the fact, reminding them, hey, listen, because this is what's going to happen is they're going to get that big bag. They're going to start shoving stuff in it at the end of the day. First of all, whatever information that you give them is either going to get thrown in the trash or thrown in the trash. They're very rarely going to keep it and very rarely going to hold on to it. So, what you can do is you can target someone just as you would a regular ad. Send them a postcard that says, hey, listen, you were at the show or whatever follow up and whatever value add you want to get on, or hey, if you want to book, go to have that go to a specific landing page and then sell to that bride off of that.
I mean, it sounds like you saved the best for last because to me, the main key point is using the event to get leads, but those leads are worthless unless you actually follow up with them. So having that game plan of how
For
do I
sure.
capture as many leads as possible, and then after the event, how do I follow up with them while everyone else is following up with them and there's a lot of noise? How do I get them to pay attention to me?
I love getting stuff in the mail.
Who doesn't?
For sure. So if you want to do like something a little bit nicer, you absolutely can do that. And there are ways to just, crank it out. But I really enjoy that. Who am I? What do I know? So anyways, do you have any last best bridal show tips?
I think I just kind of summed it up right there with my last comment, that the whole game is walking in there, maximizing the leads that you will leave with, and then having a plan for how to follow up with them. I think that's really it. It's that simple. Yes, you can get into detail about what do you say to people, what offer do you have, but really it's all about getting the leads and following up.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Super Boothers. If you have any questions, go to our website at superboothers.com and click Ask a Question. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next week.